Good morning. We're going to be going up Blueberry Ledges to Whiteface today and then across to Passaconaway. Hopefully pick up two more of our 4,000 footers, although we're going to play it by ear and turn around if it's not a safe day. All right. So for this hike, we have to leave the parking lot. We have a little bit of a road walk to actually get to the start of the trail. All right, looks like we enter here to begin the actual trail. All right, Blueberry Ledge Trail, Mount Whiteface 3.4. All right, so that road walk was just under half a mile, so not too bad. It was pretty easy. So let's get heading up. As you can see, Blueberry Ledge Trail starts just a mix of dirt and roots, some pine needles. From what I've seen and read, this is going to drastically change as we ascend Whiteface. So we're going to be taking our time going up. I'm sure I'm going to say that over and over again on this video, but everything here is wet. And I just want to make sure I have good footing before I proceed up those ledges when we get there. Here we go. First real rock navigation we're going to have to do. Get us warmed up for what comes later. All right, fresh blueberries. Just what I needed. Delicious. Got a little blueberry break, which was nice. And I can see the intersection here, just ahead, where the Blueberry Ledge Trail cutoff enters. So I was at first thrown off until I checked the map by the Blueberry Ledge Cutoff Trail. I thought that was a way to avoid the ledges. Look at the map, you'll see it is just a quicker, steeper ascent to get to this point. And Blueberry Ledge Cutoff. And I believe it is at this clearing is where you do get your first views on days with views. But all we can do is hope some of this burns off while we're on the ridge. Got some nice steps to do. We've been going pretty moderately uphill now that we're past that blueberry cutoff. There were some level areas, but for the most part, we've been gaining elevation. So we are just a little over 1.25 miles from the top of Whiteface South Summit. And it's a humid day, so I'm taking my time. I'm soaked through. And definitely doesn't make the breathing easy. But we're making progress. We're getting there, and it looks like the sun is trying to peek through, so maybe by taking my time I can get some of this to burn off and I can get a couple of views before I head over to Passaconaway. All right, so still making our way toward the ledges. We are about 1 mile left of this trail. I believe it ends at the South Summit. About a half a mile from where I believe the Tom Wiggins Trail joins. And then shortly after that, the ledges begin. So we just got this steady incline that we've been maneuvering for a little while. And then I know it's going to get real in that last half mile with the ledges. But I have a feeling to get over where to put my feet and my hands that the elevation will gain pretty easily because of the ledges. So it's good news there. And looks like we're back to some steps again, which always make gaining elevation easy. On a side note, this trail has been very buggy. A lot of mosquitoes, a lot of flies. I layered up with bug spray and treated my clothing as well. So they really haven't been biting me, but they're everywhere. So you want to come prepared if you do this trail. All right, first ledge. We have a breeze. This is wonderful. You can see the areas here where there used to be a ladder. Not anymore. Alright, these handholds are a must. Alright, one last scramble. I think. One last big scramble at least. Sorry, I think I pushed you up against a rock as I was doing that. Alright, no views yet. Sky's beautiful though. A lot of scrambling. We got between 200 and 300 feet up to go in a very short time. I think we're looking at 0.14 miles to the end. South summit and the Blueberry Ledges. So we're so close. This was a piece of trail I was most worried about. Weather-wise, everything being a little wet. And I can honestly say the ledges weren't easy, but they definitely were not where I feared for my life, or I felt like I was going to get hurt. Seems to always have been a handhold where you needed it, and a good place to put your foot. You just had to kind of stop, think about it for a minute, and make your way up it. And view from South Summit. Alright, let's go tag the real summit and get number 41. Alright, about a third of a mile to the Whiteface. On the Rollins Trail we go. And once again, Kate, we meet. But we won't be going down your trail today either. We were on the other end of this last week. I hear it's a beautiful trail. I really want to get down there, but that's not part of the plan today. And continuing down the Rollins to Mount Whiteface, the real summit, and Mount Passaconaway. So at that south summit you saw there, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and of course posting online in the groups, and a lot of people tag that and think that's a real summit, but the real summit is about a third of a mile away along the Rollins Trail on the way to Mount Passaconaway. All right, we are approaching the summit of Mount Whiteface. Number 41 of 48. As you can see, nothing really to see here except the cairn, so that's why a lot of people miss it. Looking down into the bowl, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but the bowl is now a designated research area for the study of hardwood tree growth. It is the only area in the White Mountains that has not been forested. So there's never been a logging operation in the bowl, and because of that, there are many trees in there that are well over 400 years old. All right, approaching the intersection with Dicey's Mill. Up this way, Passaconaway. Doing some scrambling. I don't think I'm terribly far from the summit. Looking at the map here, I'm pretty close, so just got some scrambles to do and tag the summit and then make my way down. All right, at the spur to tag the summit. I passed a little while back there the view spur, but that's a half mile. I think it's a mile out and back with no view, so I'm not gonna check that out today. I'll save that for another time. 42, 48, Mount Passaconaway, and again, just on the trail. Alright, so I've decided I'm going to be going down Dicey's Mill from the summit. I meant to go up Dicey's Mill, but somehow I ended up on Walden. So this way I can see another section of trail, and then it should just be straight out to the car from here. All right, still continuing down Dicey's Mill. It's been a series of switchbacks, which is really nice. Certainly has helped the descent. I don't think we're terribly far from rejoining the part of Dicey's that I took the wrong turn on. So, like I said, everything's been stone steps or log steps to descend after that first couple of scrambles. So definitely a preferred way to go up and back from Passaconaway, unless you really want to do some more difficult scrambles. All right, I think I may have found Camp Rich. Let's take a look. Side quest. Oh yes, here we are. It's not quite 200 feet off the trail, but I don't think anyone's going to hassle you here, considering it's already an impacted site. It's a fire pit. I don't think you're too far from water source. And there's room for several sites here, several tents. Very nice. Now I know how to find it. Camp Rich is on Dicey's Mill, in between the intersection and Passaconaway, and there's a clearly defined path. Really easy to find, actually. And this is where I missed a turn. I was thinking that that was wandering off towards Camp Rich, when in fact it's clearly signed. All right, excellent. All right, we've come to the infamous log bridge. Take us to the other side. I'll take a couple pictures and then I will make my way across. All right, let's make our way across. Well, that was fun and a little scary. I have to work on my balance beam skills, I guess. Hey, just left the Sandwich Wilderness and came to the intersection with Blueberry Ledge Cutoff here, which we're definitely not taking, obviously. But I would like to, there's a nice cool little bridge here that I'd like to see. Get a view of the river here, because we haven't been able to really see the river from the oh wow, this is nice, from the trail. I've been hearing it. Oh yeah, look at this. All right. If I remember right, this trail ends in someone's yard, but they allow hikers to cut through. It looks like we're getting there. This is so nice of them to let us do this, because a lot of people wouldn't. I guess I'm about 10 minutes from the car. It is it's been a day. I want to say that Blueberry Ledges Trail really kicked my butt, and I enjoyed it. Surprisingly enough, the part that I thought was going to be the hardest part, which were the ledges, were not. And I guess, I don't know, it was the humidity, or if it was getting up at 3:30 in the morning to come drive up and do the hike, that might have done it, but it just definitely seemed like it was hard to breathe today. But I'm going to put that on the humidity and the trail. But the ledges were actually fun. And here we are, back at the truck. Anxious to get on the road and get into the AC, I realized I didn't wrap up the hike. So today, we did 13.72 miles and 4,350 feet of elevation gain. We hit Mount Whiteface for our 41st and Mount Passaconaway for our 42nd. We went up the Blueberry Ledges Trail, wet Blueberry Ledges Trail, across Shorelines, up the Walden Trail to Passaconaway, and down Dicey's Mill all the way back to the truck. It was a great hike. It was a long one. It was hot. But 2 more done, 6 more to go. Woohoo!